Welcome back, Warriors fans. This is Dubs News, bringing you the latest hot takes and sharp opinions about our beloved Golden State Warriors. Let's get straight to the point. Lauri Markkanen. That's right, the Warriors have their eyes on this guy, and everyone knows it. On the other hand, the Utah Jazz won't release Markkanen unless the right price is met. Now, the burning question: will the Warriors pay that price? Let's break this down carefully. Golden State has draft picks that could entice Danny Ainge, but the big question is, which of the Warriors' young core is actually available? It all depends on how GM Mike Dunleavy values the team's young talents. And I'll say this, Dunleavy is in a tough spot. He needs to decide whether to bet on the future or secure a key piece now to maximize the remaining years of Stephen Curry and Draymond Green. Speaking of young talents, all signs point to Brandon Podziemski. This second-year player is the key to these negotiations. The Jazz want Podziemski as the centerpiece of the deal, but the Warriors see this 21-year-old as a favorite within the organization. We're at an impasse, folks. Is it worth trading a promising young player for someone like Markkanen, who at 27 still has a lot to offer but might not fit into Utah's youth movement? Let's be honest here. Impasses eventually break. Either the Jazz will lower their asking price or the Warriors will give in, and honestly, I think the latter is more likely. Markkanen is a tremendous talent, and although he doesn't exactly fit the youthful profile Utah is seeking, he could be the difference maker the Warriors need to take a significant leap forward. Yes, Podziemski is already a winner, but he's not on the same level as Markkanen. Now, let's be realistic. If the Dubs can't land Markkanen, what's next? There are viable alternatives in the trade market. The reality is that Golden State is just one step away from making noise in the West, but that step is crucial. We need a star who can contribute now, not 2 or 3 years down the line. Here are 2 backup plans for the Warriors if the Lauri Markkanen deal doesn't go through. Backup plan number 2. Trey Young on the Golden State Warriors. Does this have a future, or is it just a distant dream? Let's dive into this discussion. First, let's understand the current situation of the Atlanta Hawks. They're at a crossroads between retooling the team and starting a rebuild. With Zachary Rizicher arriving as the worst number 1 pick in a decade, and the trade of DeJounte Murray for Dyson Daniels, Larry Nance Jr., and picks, the Hawks are more balanced, but not necessarily better. So, what's the true direction of this franchise? Let's be realistic here. Trey Young won't tolerate losing for long. The guy wants to win, and fast. With no control over their own draft picks, the Hawks' situation is complicated. So, the question remains, is it time to rebuild? Now, the interesting part: how can the Golden State Warriors get involved? We could involve the Spurs as a third team, trading prospects like Jonathan Kuminga and Moses Moody to return Atlanta's picks to their original owner. Sounds complicated, right? But in the NBA, where there's a will, there's a way. Let's be honest, the idea of having Trey Young and Stephen Curry together is intriguing, but also problematic. The modern NBA has moved away from lineups with small players, and defense would be a major concern with Young and Curry together. However, let's imagine this scenario for a moment. Young is one of the most prolific offensive engines in the NBA. He's a deadly pull-up shooter with elite ball handling and court vision. Opposing defenses would have nightmares trying to contain Young and Curry at the same time. If Young can adapt to the Warriors' style and work hard off the ball, they become nearly impossible to guard. But what do you think, fans? Is it worth trying something so innovative and risky? Could the combination of Young and Curry take the Warriors to another level, or are we talking about a defensive disaster waiting to happen? I want to hear your thoughts in the comments. Backup plan number 1. Jimmy Butler, a name that could shake up the Golden State Warriors structure. Jimmy Butler is undoubtedly one of the most realistic stars Golden State can target. He loves Miami, but the truth is that Butler will eventually want his money, and the Heat don't seem willing to offer a full max extension. He could hit free agency next summer, and if negotiations stall, who's to say the Heat won't try to trade him? Or maybe Butler himself will ask to leave, especially if the Heat continue to struggle early in the season. Let's face reality. After 2 consecutive 8th-place finishes, it's clear that the current formula in Miami isn't working. Eric Spoelstra is an excellent coach, but the roster around Butler and Bam Adebayo is far from competitive. So, there's a real chance that trade rumors involving Butler will come back strong mid-season. And if that happens, you can bet that Golden State will be at the front of the line. Yes, there are risks. Butler isn't a great three-point shooter, but with Steph Curry, Buddy Hield, and Brandon Podziemski by his side, that would be less of an issue. Butler also tends to slow down during the regular season, but with Curry leading the charge, that would be more manageable. And let's be honest, Butler is old by NBA standards, but so is the Warriors' core. He would fit perfectly into our win-now timeline. And imagine the dynamic between Butler and Draymond Green. It would be a show to see these 2 fierce competitors together on the same team. What do you think, fans? Is it worth bringing Butler to the Warriors? Is he the player who can take us back to the top of the mountain? If Butler returns to the trade market, the Warriors are likely the favorites to land him, especially if they can't get Lauri Markkanen. But what do you think, fans? Do you believe this is the right move? I want to hear your opinions in the comments. Before we wrap up, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, leave a like, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any updates about the Warriors. Let's continue this discussion in the comments and show that Warriors fans are the most engaged in the NBA. Until next time, Dub Nation.